the goal at the main stand. They will be investigating Shelbourne for robbery. They have absolutely mugged Trinity United here at Tottenham.
And find the goal! Harry Wood, the jersey's off. 6 minutes to go.
Look at the bad one! What a goal that is!
Hi folks, welcome to another episode of LOI Talk. Now we started a couple of weeks ago and it's been a great pleasure. And the interaction has been way above our expectations. We think there is more to come and a lot happened last week and on Monday. So there's plenty of things to be discussed here today. For the moment, we're going to start with the games, and in about an hour, we expect to have here a guest, Connor Wilson, who is playing for Witty United. So it will be very interesting and see how was his transition from Canada and also New Zealand to the Irish football. And we'll see what his expectations, how has been his journey so far. But for the moment, we'll start with the games. I'm just going to greet my panel. Cornell, it's always fantastic to have you here back. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you very much, Victor. How are you today?
Good. What's the weather like in England?
The weather in England, it's very warm. The temperatures just dropped in Lincolnshire, and it's very, very cold. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, we can feel the spring on the air. It's the same here in Bray. Like I didn't go for a walk today, but yesterday I did, and it was beautiful. John, it's great to have you here. Finally, we can talk verbally. How are you today?
I'm good, thanks, Vitor. Thank you very much for having me. You're very kind. Yeah, looking forward to it now. So we'll crack on.
Good stuff. So there's plenty of games to go through. So I'm not going to delay it any further. So I know you have a lot to say. I'm going to put them on the screen, and we'll go one by one as we did in the last two sessions. Okay, let me just find the game here. Someone is saying, hello lads, looking forward to another great show. Thanks very much, John. It's great to have you on the other side, and feel free to fire your comments along the way. So what is the first game? That's one I'm very happy with. You can guess which. Cork 2, Bohemians 1. Yeah, that was some game. A lot of nerves, I would say, as a Cork fan, but a positive outcome. Would you relate to these comments, John?
Yeah, absolutely. You're dead right. It was a great win. Maybe rode our luck at times, especially in that first half. A lot of pressure was put on us early on by Bose. Keane Shrews made some great saves, but ultimately I think the second half performance definitely justifies the win. We really ran Bose off the park in the second half. And deservedly. Again, maybe got a little bit of luck with the Rory Keating goal. Obviously James Talbot really should have saved that, but no, I think overall we were well worth our win. And look, Bose haven't had the best start of the season, but to beat a Dublin side is always, in my opinion, very a big deal. And sending them back to Jack Eanes land with a loss is always going to make it a long trip up for them. So, no, delighted with that win now, and really great win.
Yeah, thanks, John. Cornell, can you provide us with an outsider perspective? Because myself and John are very biased, so we need some neutral person here.
Yeah, of course. Fantastic game between two good sides. Cork City showing their fantastic form again. Rory Keating and Sean Maguire, the very best in the business. And I've said even before the start of the season that both Maguire and Keating will be very, very key for Cork City of keeping them up and making sure that they challenge for the European places. And look, Bohemians haven't been at their best this new season. Obviously I'm not really sure what's really going on. I think since Mose has come in and Connor Pearsons and Lacey and others have come in, then it's just been a bit of shambles. And I think since they had that confidence from beating Shamrock Rovers in the Dublin derby, then everything has just really gone down. And I think Alan Reynolds needs to really like look at the team and probably find out what's really going on with Bohemians, because that's not really like them. I mean, who they had like 2 or 3 seasons ago, from since Ofalabi's gone, they just haven't really picked up themselves. But we can all sit down here and say that, you know, they haven't been in the best of form, but then as the season goes by, then I think that's where you see Bohemians start to pick up their form. So I'll be very interested to see what they do this new season and how Alan Reynolds is really going to go about it. But look, listen, Cork City is up there. Obviously, they are the side that no one doesn't want to be playing. You're seeing the very best of Greg Bolger in their team. You're seeing Rory Keating being back to his best as he was last season, because when he was at St. Patrick's last season, he wasn't at his best, and that's the reason why he got 3 goals last season and didn't really start kicking. But since he's back at Cork City, you know, this is the very, very best that we've seen him. But Sean Maguire is just absolutely unstoppable, and I think the more goals he scores, the more likely he's going to be a contender for the Golden Boot for the League of Ireland for the end of the season.
We have a comment here from Ben McElwain. Best time on a Thursday evening. Thanks very much for the compliment. We are very thrilled to be here. I think we provide a lot of value on a Thursday evening, so it's our duty, you know, to share our thoughts, and we want this to be interactive. So please keep sharing your comments. We are happy to give some feedback, and let's make this a dialogue and not just one-side conversation. And I'm going to move to the next game. Shelbourne 1, Shamrock Rovers 1. That was the Dublin Derby 1-1. I can see you have a lot to say about this, Cornell, with that smile.
Yes. What a fantastic game. I watched the game on Friday, and it was like one of the best games I've ever seen. Shelbourne obviously scoring first in the second minute. Harry Wood does what he always does, like he did last season when he scored the final goal to win them the League of Ireland title last season. To be honest, Shelbourne were the better side in the first half, and obviously Shamrock Rovers obviously capitalized on the mistake at the back. I mean, Connor Keynes, I don't know what he was doing. I don't know why he came off his line. He could have just waited for the player to actually come to him and then make himself big and then make the save. But, you know, Connor Keynes will learn from his mistake, and, you know, he'll crack on with his season from now to the end. But obviously, fantastic game from the start. Shamrock Rovers showed their class as well. But let's be honest, Shelbourne were the better side from start to finish. Even though Stephen Bradley will say that Shelbourne was better in the first half, Shamrock was better in the second half. But for me personally, I think Stephen Bradley is wrong on that. Shelbourne were the better side from the first half, second half, and they dominated. They isolated, they annihilated Shamrock Rovers in that first half and the second half. Shamrock Rovers had good, fantastic spells, but let's be real, Shelbourne were the better side. And I've said in previous episodes why Shelbourne are the team that no one doesn't want to be facing. Yes, I know they're not top right now because it's Waterford right now, but this is a team that has a fantastic winning mentality, and why they are favourites to retain the League of Ireland title, and why the reason why they are the team that they are. But, you know, they do what they do. When you've got Odabenko and you've got Sean Boyd, you know, running the show, you've got Ellis Chapman in that midfield now, it is just too unstoppable to really look at them right now and to not favour them, not to retain their title. But I'm very pleased it's a point. I mean, they're still unbeaten in 3 games. Obviously, they've done what they needed to do, but I think there's just no stopping Shelbourne.
Yeah, just one thing that came to my mind. Like Cork City and Shamrock, they had 2 weeks rest. It seems that was positive for Cork because we beat Bohemians. For Shamrock, it wasn't that positive because they managed to get a draw, but they didn't really perform. Have you thought of that, John, when looking at this game?
Yeah, so look, I think it's a result that at the time both sides would have been fairly happy with. You know, a point against Rovers or Shelbourne is never a overly bad thing. I must say, like, I've been very impressed with Shell so far. I had them down to kind of drop off a bit and finish third. And look, maybe Duff will leave in the summer, and that could happen. That still could happen yet. But no, I think it's a result that both sides would be quite happy with. Like Cornell was rightly referring to the firepower Shells have up front. It's some of the best in the league. Adebeko and Sean Boyd, who they miraculously managed to keep on to. They've also brought in James Norris from Liverpool on loan, who I know is a very handy player, even though he hasn't really had much of a chance so far. So no, I think overall it's a result that both would be fairly happy with. And obviously with the benefit of hindsight and knowing Monday night's result, which we'll get into in a while, it's really not a bad result for Rovers to go away and get a draw at Shells, I think look, Shells have had a very good start. Rovers have had a poor start. I think at the end of the day, it's two teams that are still going to be right up there towards the end of the season, in my opinion. I heard it was a very good game, and probably the game of the weekend, you could argue. It was definitely a good showing for the league.
Let me keep the ball with you, John, because there is a question on our lad, Carl Sullivan. Are you aware of the nature of the injury and how long he will be off the pitch?
So look, I don't have any inside information into Cork. I know as much as everyone else, but I have read up that I think he's going to miss the Sligo match, but there's a good chance he'll be back in time for Shells away. It's not meant to be an overly serious injury. Shells away, it'll be about a month to the start of the season. So I'd say I think there's a good chance he can be back for Shells away, hopefully. But as I say, I've got no inside, and I'm only a fan. I've got no inside information, so I'm not, don't take that as gospel. But I'd say there's a good chance he'll be back. Hopefully, please God, for Shells away. Yeah.
Yeah, we wish him all the best. I think he adds a lot of value to the pitch, whether you're a Cork City or fan or not. He's a great player.
And of course, he's only just turned 18 as well. Yesterday. So there's unfortunately for us Cork fans, we're probably into the last few months of Cathal O'Sullivan now. There's a good chance he'll probably move on in the summer. So let's enjoy him while we have him, and hopefully he can play as much games as possible.
Yeah, 100%. Dan have je droeg the one Galway one. That was kind of unpredictable, and it turned out to be a draw. I moved the ball back to Cornell on that one.
Fantastic game as always. Two underdog teams who are really been in very good, decent form this start of the new season. Drogheda, doing what they do best and showing how fantastic they can be. But Galway United obviously found a way to go on and gain a point. So two teams that are going to be in and around the European places this season and definitely have a chance of redemption.
Yeah. You want to add something, John, on that game, Drogheda, Galway?
Yeah, I think you're dead right that it wasn't a very surprising result. And quite frankly, it's two teams that have had a very good start to the season. I kind of view the likes of Galway and Drogheda and Waterford, even though Waterford are literally top of the league, as sort of Cork's rivals for this season. So it is it's not ideal that they've all had such solid starts. They're all pretty much unbeaten. I suppose the test is how, if they can keep that up long until as the season goes on. You'd imagine they'll drop some more points to the top sides, but who knows, maybe they can keep this streak up. But overall, I think it's a result that both teams will be quite happy with.
Then we have a result that I think was in no one's mind. St. Patrick's 4, Sligo 3. Now, I'm not surprised with St. Patrick's winning, but 4-3, maybe 1-0, 2-1, but 4-3. If someone betted for that score, they have more money than the crypto millionaires. Cornell, what do you think about that?
Oh, brilliant game this was. Sligo Rovers, even though they haven't been in the best of form this season, and obviously their manager is under threat of being sacked, and if he didn't get another win, But you have to give credit where it's due to Saloga Rovers. They showed fight and they showed heart and desire to really score first and get 3 goals. And I'm thinking, are we going to see an absolute shocker come on, that Saloga Rovers are going to come and beat St. Pat's? And I'm thinking to myself, this is impossible to see. And then the sooner you know it, then St. Patrick's come back and score and pull a goal back. Then they get a second goal, and then it's 3-3 And then I'm thinking, well, are we seeing a comeback king ability from St. Pat's? But this is what St. Patrick's are about, and this is the reason why they are going to be in and around the favourites to basically challenge for the League of Ireland title. Aidan McKinnon, that front four. I said it from time even the League of Ireland season started, and I said that front four: Simon Power, Zebedee, Jake Mulaney, and Aidan McKinnon. This guy, this player like Aidan McKinnon, who's played in the EFL before, didn't find his feet in the EFL, wasn't working, and now has come into the League of Ireland and really taken it by storm. This is a striker that is going to score so much goals this season, and he's going to be favourite to score more and more goals and be favourite to win the Golden Boot for the League of Ireland, got top scorer.
So that might answer this question. Is he the best striker in the league?
100%. He is. The way he's playing, his mentality, his ability to win, his ability to score. That is what Aidan McKinnon is, and he has his head absolutely screwed on, and to link up well with Zebedee, to link up with Jake Mulaney and Simon Power as a front four. That is his game. But we're seeing the very best of Aidan McKinnon, and definitely Aidan McKinnon by storm, and 100% is the best striker in the League of Ireland right now.
So that was a very entertaining game. So I'm sure you want to add your words on that one, John.
It's a real testament to the league at the moment, to the quality of the league, that we have, the team who's objectively, I suppose, other than Rovers, has had the worst start and probably have the worst quality of squad, are still able to put such a fight up against the favourites, St. Pat's. It's a real testament to the quality of the league this season and how actually unpredictable it's going to be. We forget that Sligo still have some extremely solid players. The likes of John Mahon, who went over to Scotland, I think St. Johnstone, didn't really work out, but he's always been a fantastic centre-back in this league. We've got the likes of Will Fitzgerald, who's been in the league a long time now and has had a good start to the season. I think Keane Kavanagh is up front for them, who's quite a solid striker as well. And I think the main signing is Jake Doyle Hayes in midfield. He has the potential to be the best number 6 in the league. So and saying all this, we're still probably making the argument that Sligo are probably the weakest side on paper, in the whole division. It was a great game by all accounts. Aidan Keena probably is the best striker in the league, and for one of the reasons is he's literally managing to keep Mason Melia, an absolute supreme talent, out of the team. I think that says all you need to know about his quality. Many Pats fans were saying it was one of the best striking performances they've ever seen and stuff like this. It's I'll just repeat that it's a real testament to the league that Sligo, who are probably, as I say, on paper, one of the weaker sides, are still able to put up such fights. And maybe we're even underrating Sligo just completely, and they could give Cork a real humbling now coming Friday night. It was a fantastic game, to be fair, and both teams can probably hold their heads up fairly high after it, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. I would subscribe that 100%. It's very telling that the bottom and the top can compete at that level. It tells how the League of Ireland has improved over the last couple of years. There are not many leagues out there in Europe that can claim the same. So hats off for the quality of the football these days. Who is going to get the sack first, Reynolds or Russell, in your opinion, John?
So I won't get too deep into this, but I'm really not a fan of Alan Reynolds. So I'm going to go for Reynolds. I see him getting sacked first. I just don't rate him whatsoever.
Would you have the same bet, Coronel, or would you go for Russell?
I think for me, if Alan Reynolds don't get his act together and get wins and get the very best out of Bohemians, then it's a possibility that Reynolds could be. But I think Russell, I think if he's given another, if the board can really give him another chance to really relish, and get Salogo Rovers being at their best, then I think Russell is not unlikely. I'm not saying that Russell could be sacked, but I think there's a possibility that Reynolds could be the one that could be the first one to get sacked, because if he can't get the best out of Bohemians, then I think Reynolds will be the first one to go. I mean, look, Russell, obviously, yes, I was critical of Salogo Rovers and obviously of the form that they've been in, but they've really shown that they can really get a win amongst each other, and Russell can really look at this team and look at the players and think they can really get the best out of that team. But every time I look at this Bohemians team, like it's all right bringing in Pearsons, bringing in Lacey, bringing in Whelan, bringing in Mose, all this hype around Mose that he's going to do this and he's going to do that. We haven't seen the very best of him as yet, and it's going to take him a bit of time for him to really get used to playing in the League of Ireland. But if he can't get the best out of that Bohemians team and they can't get any wins out of it, I just think for me that Alan Reynolds, I think, will be the first one to go. So I think definitely Reynolds for me.
Jamie in the comments is mentioning that Russell is one of the best managers in the league. So it would be a silly move from Sligo to get rid of him. Any thoughts on these guys? Maybe John?
Yeah, it's a fair point from Jamie. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I don't know a whole lot about Russell's pedigree, but I do think, to be fair to him, he's considering how kind of low they were on players and they're still betting in players at the start of the season. I think he's had quite a good start, in all things considered. So I don't really see a world where they sack him, to be quite honest. The way they're going, unless it gets really bad.
Okay, let's just answer one more question before we move to the next game. John is pointing out at Mose and says, so far has the gamble failed, or it's still too early to call? I keep the ball with you, John.
Yeah, thanks. So, I would say it's too early to call yet. We've plenty of players have had poor starts and gone on and done well, but we can't sugarcoat it. Like, it is a very poor start. He just looks completely unfit, out of shape. He's pretty much anomalous in games. So that's what pre-season is supposed to be for, is for getting into a good fitness level. I think Mousse is learning that the League of Ireland is a tough league to score goals in. No matter what level you're at, and you need to be at a high fitness level and everything if you want to do well in it. So I would say it's too early to call, just being conservative, but absolutely if I was to put a bet in it, I think I probably would say at this stage he probably will fail, unfortunately, which is sad for him, but that's football.
Coronel, in terms of timeline, I think Musta still have chance to prove himself, or you'll be a failing bet.
I think with Mose at the moment, I think Bohemian fans were very excited about this signing, and they were all thinking that, well, signing Mose was going to work, and with his experience from the Championship and playing in the Premier League as well. But I think give it a couple of more games to go, and if we see the very best out of Mose, then we'll see the very best out of Mose. But I think if we don't see it, and I think obviously, look, playing in the League of Ireland is not easy. It is very, very difficult, and you've got to be at a very fantastic fitness level for you to really be nail on and spot on playing in the League of Ireland. And honestly, I think I wouldn't say that it's a gamble failed or not, but I just think, well, if he doesn't get running or get going, then I think serious questions are going to be asked about Mose. Is he the right fit, or is he the right signing for Bohemians? But I think time will really tell for Mose. So yeah, I think it's still too early to call. Obviously, Alan Reynolds is trying to get him at full speed of how the League of Ireland's really working and how he can really get on the goals. But if we don't see it, then I think we would class that as probably as a flop signing, to be honest.
Okay, let's move on to the next game, because there are plenty. So Derry was beaten at home. Derry won, Waterford 2. Now I'm conscious that Waterford is in a very good form, but if I would be a Derry fan, I would be very disappointed, because a home defeat, it's always a home defeat, isn't it, Cornell?
Yeah, Waterford were the better side. They've shown how fantastic they can be. They've shown how brilliant of an underdog side that they are. And when you've got players like Alman in there who can score goals, and you've got Thomas Longaran who could score goals as well. It's just unbelievable to watch. And obviously Noonan in there as well. Conan Noonan playing his absolute brilliant football on loan from Shamrock Rovers. So I think definitely Derry City, obviously they wasn't expecting Waterford to really come, but Waterford had the plan, and that was to score first, and they did, and they scored 2 goals, and then Derry City putting it back. But obviously I think this game obviously was there for the taking, and Waterford took their chance and their opportunity and really showed Derry that they wasn't afraid of the bigger sides. And that's why I've said even before the start of this podcast, and I said you can't underestimate the smaller teams in the League of Ireland division, because you can be a Shamrock Rovers, you can be a Shelburne, you can be any big team you are, but when you're coming up against a smaller team like a Cork City, or you're coming up against a Salogo, or you're coming up against a Waterford or a Drogheda, don't underestimate them, because it comes back to haunt you.
Your thoughts, John?
Yeah, so it was it's a very impressive win for Waterford to go, there in the southeast, and to go all the way up to the northwest and pick up such a win is extremely impressive. From a Derry perspective, it's been an underwhelming start so far, to be honest. Obviously they got a decent win there against Bows, but sure, everybody's doing that, let's be honest, other than Rovers. And Tiernan Lynch, I do think it will come good with him. I rate him highly as a manager. He did very well in the Irish League there. But I suppose I think they got it wrong, to be honest, in the winter with the recruitment. Liam Boyce obviously is a good player. They brought in that other fella from Dundee United, but you kind of need to have a bit of succession planning as well, and bring in youthful players, whereas Derry kind of went for a pure, I suppose, experienced approach. And look, there's nothing wrong with an experienced signing, but you need to have a mix of youth as well, in my opinion, and that's kind of where they missed the mark. I still think Derry have a very good squad. I think at the likes of Ronan Boyce, Adam O'Reilly, Brian Maher is still there. I mean, Brian Maher has been in Ireland squads before. He should be, he's not had a great start to the season really, but he is a good keeper. So you'd be a bit worried about Derry maybe, because as we know, the quality is so high this year that if you find yourself falling behind, you could really struggle, but I do think they're too big of a club to worry about going down or anything like that. But yeah, it was a great win for Waterford, and they've had an exceptional start. They've really surprised me with how they've started, to be honest. Let's hope that it's only a temporary thing, because I really couldn't stomach them going for some sort of a title charge. But look, it's very early days. So, a good game by all accounts, and a great win for Waterford, but unfortunately.
Yeah, so those were last Friday games. So we'll move to Monday games. But before that, I just want to encourage the viewers, if they know someone who's into the League of Ireland and they were not notified of this podcast, please share, because we are still halfway and there is more to come. And if we're enjoying us, the way to support us is just a thumbs up, and it costs you nothing, but it means a lot to us. So please do that. And if you haven't subscribed, that's the way to support us in the YouTube environment. Just a couple of words about the Premier Division, the First Division. John, do you want to highlight something about it? I don't know, Kerry, UCD, Bray, anything? Just a brief overview on where it stands at the moment.
Yeah. So Kerry played Dundalk. Kerry were at home, like, and another good performance from Kerry by all accounts to keep it at 1-0. Like, their fans were, nobody's happy with the loss, but they did themselves proud against a very sad Dundalk side. Like, so I think Kerry are a team who are going to be improving this year. They're probably not going to be up there for title challenging, but they are clearly improving. Dundalk with another 1-0 win. Like, I'd say I haven't watched their games. I'd say they're a miserable team to watch by the sounds of it, but they have started well. At the end of the day, 9 points from 9 is what you want. Then you've got Cove Ramblers, who I think drew at UCD. Cove really are going for it this year. Like, they brought in basically Cork City's team from last year. Barry Coffey, Hoykinen, who was there a few years ago, Keane Murphy, Keane Coleman, Shane Griffin, who's a former Cork City player. So they're really going for it this year, like, and supposedly there's a lot of financial backing going on at Cove at the moment. Like, it's very bright times there at St. Coleman's Park, but I don't know. I think they're picking up one too many draws, like to draw with Kerry and UCD. With respect to Kerry and UCD, who are both solid sides, that you should really be picking up victories there, because if you want to have serious challenges of challenging, I suppose Cove, in fairness, beat Treaty as well. We'll get on to Treaty now. Obviously, we have Connor coming on, which we're all really excited for. So Treaty have had a really impressive start. I kind of made the claim that that 5-0 against Athlone was a bit of a once-off, but I was definitely proved wrong there, because they beat who did they beat? They beat somebody 3-1. If you can tell me who that was, their past weekend. So no, Treaty look really impressive as well. To be honest, I've been more impressed by Treaty than I've been by Cove so far. So yeah, and then there was, I think, a draw between like Longford and Athlone, 1-1. So yeah, it's a good first division as well this year. Like
Witty beats Finn Harps.
Finn Harps, that was it. Thank you. That's right. Very much. Yeah. So that was a good win as well. I mean, Finn Harps are a team that under Ali Horgan were in the Premier Division for such a long time. Obviously, they're not so good at the moment, unfortunately, for the Donegal outfit, but. The first division is interesting this season. I think Dundalk are going to run away with it. To be honest, it's going to be a bit like us, Cork City last year. But there is that second place is definitely up for grabs between the likes of Cove and Treaty, if they can keep this form going. So, and Athlone, I mean, Athlone have just been shocking so far. But after being the second best team by a long way last year, so. Yeah, it's an interesting first division as well, but that second place is actually quite unpredictable, so definitely keep an eye on it.
Yeah, just before I pass the ball to Cornell, John is asking your thoughts on Cove signing announced just today, George Noon. I think there was a lot of stuff going on social media about this lad. Do you want to say something about it?
I'll be as brief as I can, yeah, but he, I think he's former Swansea or something like that, somewhere in England anyway, and he's played Ireland. He's played for Ireland at youth level before as well. So no, he looks like a really solid player. Like, 23 is a good age as well. It's the right mix of experience and youth. So no, I'd say that's a good signing for Cove. I don't know an awful lot about him, but more baddies in the squad is always a positive thing, isn't it? So yeah.
There's one team that no one is talking about in the first division, and maybe just me thinking about them. It's UCD. Is there a reason why UCD is not on the card score now? Because they are a kind of a yo-yo team. Did something happen with the squad that I'm missing?
I think just people. I think UCD is a team that obviously has been in the first division for quite some time, and some people have kind of like not really like bothered about them. Obviously, to be honest, but I think it's a kind of a weird one because obviously, I mean, they are starting to gain a little bit of form, but yeah, very interesting to be honest.
Any other thoughts on the remaining teams in the first division for now?
Yeah, Dundalk absolutely on fire right now. Still unbeaten in the first division, and why they are the reason why they are favourites to win the first division this new season. Let's not forget Treaty United as well. David Lee Devitt as well. Absolutely fantastic. Scored a brace. I'm disappointed that he's not player of the month for February because he's been on absolutely another level this season. Kerry FC, sorry, obviously is also a team that I think that that is one to watch as well. Kolb Ramblers as well, another team that I do rate, I think. But I think for me this season, I think it's going to be between Dundalk and Treaty United that will go guns blazing again for the first division title.
Yeah, there's a comment here on Lee David. You guys wanna add something on this? Would you subscribe or endorse this comment? Would you disagree?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think Lee Devitt being left out of the Player of the Month is not right, really, because he's got 5 goals in 3 games this season. He's done a lot of wicked things in the first division. He knows where the goal is, and he's a goal scoring machine, and he's going to be a very fantastic key player for Treaty United. So I'm disappointed that he's missed out on the team of the week, and I think that the League of Ireland's going to have some massive regrets leaving him out because he is the player in form right now.
We just got a massive compliment here from Dave Roycroft. We'll share. This is incredible. First time viewer. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. And I can see you are a Cork City fan, so I can only give you the compliment back. Let's move to Monday games because there's still a lot to be discussed. And we are behind the schedule, but why not? So the first one we have here is that was shocking to me. Sligo beating Shamrock Rovers. Were you also surprised, John, with that?
Oh, absolutely. I was in your boat as well. Absolutely shocked. Maybe we shouldn't be because Rovers have been so poor, but no, I couldn't get over it, to be quite honest. But that being said, we have to remember, and I don't want to repeat myself here, but Sligo have got a lot of quality players, and Jake Doyle Hayes, I think, is going to be their key man this season, and he's kind of starting to bed into the team now, which is a fright for the rest of the league. If they fit, because I suppose he had bad injury problems over at Hibs there in Scotland. Was there? I think there might have been a red card in this game. I could be wrong, but no, it was a really surprising result. And it would be hilarious if Rovers went from challenging in Europe and getting this close to a round of 16 or quarter final. And if they end up getting relegated or something this season or battling for relegation, listen, I don't think that's going to happen. By the way, I think they will pick it back up over the next few weeks, but it would just be gas, wouldn't it? Obviously it's well documented Rovers' problems. They're relying on a 16-year-old up front, very talented 16-year-old, but a 16-year-old nonetheless, and 2 35-year-olds who honestly are worse than the 16-year-olds. So yeah, I still do think what some people aren't talking about is Rovers still have brought in some great signings. Like Matt Healy was just a tremendous signing. I thought he would go somewhere like League One in England, to be honest. But Ed McGinty, who hasn't really had the best start, to be honest, but he is another good player, obviously. They brought in that Welsh left back who I think picked up a bad injury. So obviously there was news as well that it looks like Josh Honahan might be getting called up to the Ireland squad, which is very welcome news. I think he deserves it. But yeah, it was definitely, Vitor, I agree with you. It was a surprising result, but I suppose I don't think any of us are complaining too much with seeing Rovers struggle either. So 100%. That's it really.
So Rovers is now at the bottom of the league. It's not the best start, Cornell, but I think last year, if I recall well, the beginning wasn't promising, and then they end up fighting for the title until the last 10 minutes of the league. Can that happen again?
The way that I see it with Shamrock Rovers now, if they don't get a replacement for Johnny Kenny and they don't bring in a striker, obviously their biggest intentions is to bring in Jonathan Ofalabi, who's on loan in the Belgium league. Now they have to wait until the summer for them to bring him in, and obviously they've been linked with like Patrick Hobbin. But you look at Shamrock Rovers' team now, like they look a shadow of the team that we always know that they always can be. We always know Shamrock Rovers to be a team that likes to dominate and really outsmart small, big teams. Stephen Bradley has gone through a lot of pressure really as Shamrock Rovers manager. You could clearly see that there is something not right with this team. Like there's no good wingers in this team. Like obviously Byrne is touch and go in and out of the team due to injuries. Is more obviously Danny Mandroyu and Burke are actually running the show. I still believe they need to add another winger. If they can bring in Asamoah or a winger on a free who can really help Shamrock Rovers really get back to their best. They still haven't replaced Marcus Poom in his team, which is an absolute joke. And their back line, they've got a few injuries like Matthews, who's just come in, a former Celtic player who could play at left back. And play on the right side, but his main position is more playing in that centre back role. I think they still have problems at the back. I mean, Josh Houlihan being called up obviously is an absolute fantastic achievement for him. He'll really help the Irish international team's back line, and this is what Helgason as a manager is. Obviously. Not just only looking in the Championship or looking in the Premier League, look in the League of Ireland. There are fantastic young talents, young players, experienced players who can really help the Irish international team be back to their best. Because you look at players like Melia, for example, I would love to see him, represent Ireland and the Ireland international team. You look at 16-year-old players like Michael Noonan, absolutely on fire, but then you can't rely too much on Michael Noonan too much because he's only a 16-year-old kid and he's got absolutely the huge potential to be a very special player. But I think they need more new signings to come into this team, because if they want to challenge and they want to win back their 5th consecutive League of Ireland title, they need to bring in new faces to really help this team and make sure that Shamrock Rovers is on fire. Saloga Rovers, yes, they're going through their problems at the moment because they haven't been winning all their games, but they've shown that they can be the underdogs, just like how you look at Drogheda and other teams. But Shamrock Rovers look like a real shadow of the team that we always know. We want to see them back dominating and doing what they do best. But until that happens, until they get a striker, until they can get some wingers to really come in, I think it's unlikely, because you're looking at Shelburne now, who are top of the table. You're looking at Derry City, I think, will be definitely around if they can find their form. But Shamrock Rovers, you're looking at them and you're thinking they should be challenging for the title, not being around at the bottom or, being in 5th place or 4th place. They should be, 3rd or 2nd. And you look at St. Pat's already and you look at their team right now and they are on fire. But Shamrock Rovers, I think there's some new signings that need to be added into this team.
And talking of Pats, it seems they are picking up their second consecutive victory, and there is not finding their way. So they left Inchicore on a negative note. Do you want to add something to that, Cornell?
Yes, I'd love to. St. Patrick's absolutely on fire. They are back to the very best. They are looking like real challengers for the League of Ireland title this season. Aidan McKenna, I've said it most times, best striker in the league right now, scoring goals for fun, being back to his best. We're seeing the very best of Aidan McKenna. And this is what I said Aidan McKenna does. This is what St. Patrick's do. Yes, they're missing Lennon in that midfield, but when you've got the likes of Romel Palmer, you've got Barry Bagley in there, you know, they are just an absolute handful. I mean, obviously, I think the Carl Winchester red card was a little bit harsh, but look, at the end of the day, you know, Tian Lynch obviously is still trying to get used to the League of Ireland. You know, he's still trying to do what he feels that he can get Derry back to their best. But St. Patrick's, they are on another level. When you've got Breslin, when you've got Joe Redmond in that team, obviously Sean O'Hare to come back in from injury very, very soon, as you know it. And I think their defense will be absolutely dominant as soon as you know it. And they're going to be up there this season. And I think obviously if Aidan McKenna can carry that on, this is about Aidan McKenna, who is absolutely on fire. His mentality is just unbelievable, and it is just fantastic to see. And you're seeing him link up with Jake Mulaney. You're seeing him link up with Simon Power. You're seeing him, you know, link up with the very best in the business right now. This is a different Aidan McKenna that we are seeing this season, who can really start to really make his impact heard, and obviously be a favourite contender for the goal scoring Golden Boot or for the League of Ireland this season.
So based on the beginning, John is very skeptical on Derry City. He cannot foresee Derry being happy at the end of the season, although there's a lot of money thrown to the team. Would you share John's views, John?
Yeah, definitely. It's been a disappointing start, I think. You know, yeah, like John and Brennan there is right. Like there's been a lot of money pumped into them over the years, and that's why they have such a good team on paper. It's just never really worked out for them, really, has it? You know, I suppose, look, there's plenty of time in the season still, and a trip to Richmond Park is probably the toughest trip you can actually face now, other than maybe to Shell's Talca Park. But no, look, I don't want to be repeating myself. I kind of made my views clear in Derry, like, but just to focus on this game, like, James McLean was giving out like mad about that card, Winchester red card. Like, he thought it was really wrong. And he thought the refs were just completely against Derry in this game, and that he's never seen such a blind robbery in his life. I think that's something like what James McLean said. So like, that's obviously makes things difficult when you're already kind of on the back foot, and then a referee is against you. But, you know, in fairness to Pats, like, as Cornell rightly said, they've got a few injuries. You know, Jamie Lennon is a huge loss, and a few others in the back line as well. So it's a fairly, you know, it was a fairly predictable result at the end of the day, I would say. But you would have a bit of sympathy for Derry if they were kind of done over by the refs, because I mean, we get into the Cork game in a minute now, like, and you know, we were fairly done over ourselves, you could argue. So yeah, no, I think Derry have fair reasons to be aggrieved, but you know, at the end of the day, Pats still have to show up, and they clearly did show up. Like, that's 2-0 win is a very comprehensive one. So yeah, fair play to them.
Speaking of red cards, there were two in this game. One during the game itself, another after the final whistle. So Tim Clancy got a red card, and they exchanged. He exchanged not the nicest words with the officials. I'm not sure if he was right, because I saw the yellow cards, the 2 yellow cards, and I think they were forced, in my opinion. But I'm a Cork fan, so I don't want to say too much about it. John, you probably are on my side on this one, or would you be able to see it from a different angle?
Look, I'm going to be biased. There's no doubt about it. But like, I think the way Tim Clancy was treated was very wrong. You know, what he did was he was very upfront about it in his interview. He said, "I thought you were a disgrace to the ARF," which, look, maybe he shouldn't be saying, to be honest. Like, it's you shouldn't be like having to go at refs. But what the ref said then was like just completely out of the ordinary. The ref said, "I thought your team was a disgrace." Now, the referee is supposed to be an impartial body that doesn't, have a preference or really interfere with the other team or have really an opinion on the other team. So, when you look at the decisions that went against us in the game, and it wasn't just the red cards, there was constant little fouls, and like every 50-50 was given to Waterford, in my opinion. It would make you very suspicious when the ref is saying, "Oh, I thought your team was a disgrace." I just think it's obviously, look, Vitor, I'm going to be biased, but I think I just think it, that kind of language is just very worrying, But as for the game itself, again, I'm going to be biased, but I do think Waterford got away with one. Harvey Skeeter's, a few of us Cork fans were having debates. Most of the other lads thought he wasn't great. I thought he caused problems in there. I thought he looked pretty decent. Like, he'd a few terrible moments, like that shot. I don't know what he was doing. It reminds you of Naby Keita and the Champions League final in 2022. But it was a terrible shot. But overall, I think Harvey Skeeter's, caused some problems and was decent. But at the end of the day, he's not Shawnee Maguire. And Shawnee Maguire coming off injured was a real stroke of luck for Waterford, because he was we were running rings around him in those first 30 minutes. We really were, like. And then Greg Balger had to go off at half-time. Like, Cornell was rightly saying it earlier, he's so integral to our team. So I think Waterford got very lucky in that sense. Nolan missed he scored an unbelievable goal, but he missed an absolute sitter as well that is just going to haunt me forever. So I honestly, again, I'm going to be very biased. I think we can hold our heads high with the performance. I think we were pretty unlucky, but at the end of the day, a loss is a loss, isn't it? There's no sympathy in football for playing well. Like, you can play as well as you want, but if you get 0 points, it's 0 points on the board. And we need to become a bit more ruthless and take our chances, because it was similar against Galway. Like, Dykesfield had a glorious chance and he missed it. So to make that could have made it 2-0, or that would have made it 1-0. Sorry, but we've really got to start becoming more ruthless with our chance taking, because games are just going to go away from us otherwise. And unfortunately, that's what happened today. Now, look, credit to Waterford. They're a great team. Like, you don't get to top of the league at this stage of the season without being a decent team. We'll see how long it lasts, but it was a really gut-wrenching one now, to be honest with you, lads.
Cornell, I would like to get your angle, because you don't have skin in the game, so you might be able to perceive things that we cannot.
For me, as John said, I think Waterford were very, very lucky to win, and obviously, I think the decision going against them was not great. But a loss is a loss. But Waterford are showing the reason why they are the underdog side that really likes to take the game to their opponents, and I do favour Waterford to be favourites to challenge and finish around the European places. But Cork City, obviously, I think they were it was not very good for them to lose. But look, I've always said I think they'll still be in and around the European places and stay up this season and really make sure that Rory Keating and Sean Maguire are key to keeping them scoring the goals and keeping Cork City up from being competing around the relegation playoff places.
Yeah, another team that is performing very well and was struggling last year is Drogheda, and they managed to get another victory in Dublin. Cornell, were you surprised with that, or are you just confirming that Drogheda is a team to be taken in consideration?
I was surprised a bit both really, because Drogheda obviously we didn't see the very best of them on the first day of the season. They showed how quality they are by drawing against St. Patrick's on the first day of the season. But I think since the time that they had lost the first game, they've really picked up themselves. We're seeing Thomas Owala scoring, starting to get in his best of form at the moment, scoring his first goal and scoring the only goal. I thought Connor Keeley as well, absolutely fantastic central centre back. You know, obviously that was at St. Patrick's last season, didn't really get going there, and come back to Drogheda to really be that centre back that no one doesn't want to be playing up against. But one thing for sure, Drogheda is the underdog team that no one doesn't want to be playing. And right now, I think they're in European football now for the UEFA Conference League, and Drogheda is going to be a team that no one doesn't want to be playing right now, to be honest. And you know, you see, I mean, obviously we've got James Taylor to come back as well. We're seeing the fantastic quality of Dara Markey, obviously, who loves to go forward and really cause defenders loads of problems. But you've got, obviously, you know, they've got a fantastic midfield as well. You know, this is what Drogheda is. Drogheda is an underdog team that will never back down, no matter how many goals they're down. If they're 1 or 2 goals, they will show the quality and the class that they are of a team. And I do believe that they'll be in and around the European places this season.
John, I would like to focus on Bohemians, but their second consecutive loss. Will they be able to recover in the next month, or do you think they're gonna suffer for a long time?
So, look, I touched on it earlier. I really don't rate Alan Reynolds. You know, he came out there after the loss against Derry, and he was kind of giving out his players, and he was throwing Keane Best under a bus, saying, "Oh, I've got a 19-year-old left back," and all this. Like, what a ridiculous comment. You know, how many? I mean, like, you know, how many young players are used all throughout Europe? Like, if you're good enough, you're old enough. You know, like, you're like age, like 19 is actually not even that young compared to what we see some players coming out throughout Europe. Like, you know, Trent Alexander-Arnold was winning Champions Leagues at 19. Look, and obviously there's differences in the levels, but you know, Keane Best is a player that is very highly rated at Preston. Like, he broke into the Preston first team at a very young age. I think Alan Reynolds should be feeling lucky to have a left back like that and should be working with him. But even if Keane Best is not performing well in training or whatever, and is not, you know, you don't throw him under the bus. Like, that's one thing you never do as a manager. You know, like, for instance, like, Brendan Rodgers is very good at that, at protecting his players when they're under media scrutiny. He'll always protect them and say, no, you know, he's doing a good job, he's hanging in there. Like, I just thought when I saw that, I couldn't get over it. Like, you know, that kind of petulantness, and it should be said that, you know, Bo, I think he took over from Keith Long, like, but Bo's were dreadful last season as well, like finishing 7th, you know, and like, you know, there's a narrative that he's working with a tough bunch, but he really isn't. Like, it's a strong squad. I mean, Niall Marahan is one of the best midfielders in the league. People are wondering how people are saying Sligo are weaker for him without him. Dawson DeBoy and Ross Tierney were getting moves to Scotland and England respectively because of how good they were a few years ago. I know Mousse isn't really working out, fair enough, but you've still got Colin Whelan in there, who's another really solid striker. They've got depth in midfield as well. Like, you know, they've got Sean Green back on loan. Like, I really don't think the squad is as bad as some people like to kind of play a victimhood and make out. It's actually a really strong squad. Connor Parsons, I mean, when I saw that intro there at the start and that goal that he scored against us a few years ago, I was getting trauma flashbacks, you know. So no, like, I really I look, the thing is with Bows is there's not much managers in the market at the moment. It's like, who do they bring in? You know, some have suggested maybe Colin Healy. Like, I don't think that's actually a bad shout. I think Colin Healy is a man of tremendous character and could actually, you know, do a better job than Reynolds. But I don't know. Frankly, I don't have the answers as to who they should get in, but I really do not rate Reynolds whatsoever. And if they keep on for him for too long, they honestly could be in real trouble. That's, you know, maybe I'm being harsh on the man, but that's just, I really, it's been a long time since he's been a high level manager. You know, he took Waterford, I think, out of the first division a few years ago, in fairness, and that was very impressive, and kept Waterford steady a few years. But, you know, does he have the pedigree for a club like Bows? I'm not sure. And you'd say something if they had a weak squad or whatever, but I really think their squad is actually quite strong. So no, sorry for all the rambling, lads, but yeah, from a Bows perspective, I don't rate Reynolds whatsoever, to be quite honest.
Yeah, just going back to Cork City game. So David mentioned here that Waterford is top, so it's not a bad measure bar for us, for Cork City. And when it comes to the referee, yeah, he's very unhappy with the behavior. I would fully endorse his comments. They were unprofessional, and they need to be investigated to see exactly what happened, because that kind of words, they don't have space in the pitch, in my opinion. Let's just wrap up the last Monday games, because Connor is here. So there's one more, which is Galway 1, Shelbourne 1. John, you want to say something brief about this one before we start chatting to Connor?
I keep it very brief because I'm really looking forward to talk to Connor. So it's a brilliant result for Galway, you know, in fairness. Obviously, Aim and DC Park is a very tough place to go to. Will Shells be a little bit worried? You know, it's looking like it's going to be a fierce battle now between Pats and Shells, because Shells now dropped 4 points in the last 2 games, and Pats had a bit of a rocky start as well. So they're both even now at the moment. So it's a very impressive result for Galway, who are really flying so far this season. It has to be said. Even when they didn't play so well against Cork, they still managed to pick up a point. So, no, fair play to Galway, and you know, maybe Shells will be a little bit disappointed, but look, it's a tough place to go.
Anything from your end, Cornell, just to wrap up Monday games?
Shelbourne getting a point, obviously still unbeaten this season. Shelbourne showing how fantastic they are of a team, and why they can really get a point out of this. But Galway United gave up a very impressive fight, and they showed their quality as well. But as I've always said that there's no stopping Shelbourne this season.
Great. So I'm going to welcome Connor. So what we're going to do, we're going to chat with him, and then we will discuss these weekend games. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay.
Hi, Connor. How are you?
Hi, everyone. How's it going?
Going very well.
Awesome.
We're very happy to have you here. You have plenty of questions, so people are very eager to hear from you.
Awesome.
So I'm going to start with the question I received from one of our teammates, who was asking, having played in Australia and Canada leagues, where does the League of Ireland stand quality-wise?
To be honest, the League of Ireland, it's a strong competitive league. You notice from the bottom teams all the way up to the top, it's on any given night, I believe anybody can win. So I'll just say across the board, it's a lot more competitive than the leagues I've played in, only because some of the bottom end teams, they'll lose by great margins to the top teams.
Right. What are the aims for the season at Treaty United?
I think obviously promotion's the number one goal in mind, of course. But look, we take every week to week, game by game, very seriously. So, but yeah, no, obviously promotion's the number one goal.
Cool. We have here someone very happy, expressing happiness for having you on the show. Yeah, we got a lot of positive
Awesome.
momentum. So yeah. Everyone is delighted with this moment. I'm going to finalize the questions from that fellow. vision from Treaty United for the next few years, and what do you expect that to be?
Yeah, like I just mentioned, obviously very new to the club and still kind of getting settled in as far as understanding teammates. Obviously, we had a good preseason, but the season's still young. But yeah, promotion is obviously the goal this year, and if it doesn't happen, which I don't see why it can't, obviously we'll try again for the years after.
Yeah. So before I move to a couple of questions, I wrote it down myself. I would like the panel to throw theirs. So maybe John, anything you would like to ask Connor?
Hi, Connor. Thanks so much for coming on. It's great to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Not at all. No, it's our pleasure. But yeah, so like you've had a really strong start to the season. Like I've just been so impressed by you, to be honest. Do you think, beating such huge fine margins of wins, like 5-0 away to Athlone, 3-1 at home to Finn Harps, is this sustainable, or is there maybe concerns that you could like burn out as the season goes on? But fair play to you, because it's really been an incredible start to the season. You were very unlucky against Cove as well. So but there are maybe any concerns there that maybe, I don't know, you're going too fast maybe?
Like I said, we take game by game. But like, look, against Cove, I thought overall as a team, we probably played our best games. Because if you look at stats, and stats aren't everything, because mind you still have to win the game at the end of the day. But against Athlone, like, they had a lot of chances that they could have put away as well. Even last week against Finn, they had a lot of chances as well, a lot of corners, a lot of good opportunities. But at the end of the day, we've been very clinical. Obviously, Lee Devitt's been unbelievable at the start of the season. Is it sustainable? All I can say is I hope so. And if it isn't, then we got to tighten up as a team and just produce more. The more we produce, the better it's going to be. But no, we've had a very clinical start to the season, which is obviously a great sign.
Absolutely. No, fair play to you. Like, I'm a Cork City fan, so it'd be great to have as much Munster teams as possible. In the so best of luck to you for the rest of the season.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cornell, it's your turn.
Yes. Hello, Connor Wilson. My name's Cornell. Very nice to meet you. Obviously, Treaty United are obviously on really good form this season, and the way that you've been playing is just been fantastic. Do you think you and Lee Devitt are the very best two up front that you've actually played up well with, or do you feel there's somebody else in the Treaty United team that you feel that you play very well with?
Like I said, it's early in the season, so we have a very, very deep squad this year. We've also sustained a couple of injuries with the likes of, obviously, Lee J, who's one of our better players, Ben Lynch, Fionn, kind of goes down the list. We've had Val, just a lot of injuries that, like, anybody at the end of the day can come in and do a job. And I think Tommy has done a very good job of picking the squad this year. But yeah, no, I'll just say, obviously, Lee's obviously been top for us this year, and all I can do is just try to support him and try to get some more goals. But my job's obviously a little bit different, as I'm finding myself a little bit more holding than anything. And we rely heavy on our attack, on our counter attack specifically. But no, even the likes of Joe Hansen, Carl's been good, Yo-Yo's been good, and then Tripp, Mark Byrne, everybody that's come off the bench has put in some great minutes for us. So no, we're just looking to keep that trend moving forward. And it's next person up. Anybody who goes down, next person has to be ready to fill in.
And then also, sorry, Victor.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Do you feel that the Treaty United manager has basically like got the best out of you and made sure that you are playing to your very best since playing for Treaty United?
Yeah, of course. No, I'm one of those players where if it's a job you need me to do, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna do it to the best of my abilities. Tommy has put me in that role, and all I can do is just I'll put my head down and do what I can for the team. He like I keep going back to. I think it's important. Um, to keep progressing and getting to know the team properly, just so I can fulfill my duties the best I can.
Okay. Cornell, do you have any other question? Sorry to interrupt you. I was not aware that you had a second, but if you have a third, no problem. I know you like to talk, so.
Yes. Do you believe that Treaty United can be contenders to challenge for the first division and really knock off Dundalk off their perch? Do you believe that Treaty United can really be that team that can really play in the Premier Division against the very best and really test themselves against a St. Pat's or a Shelburne or a Derry City or a Shamrock Rovers or a Bohemian? Do you believe that Treaty United can achieve that goal?
Yeah, look, I think that's everyone's goal in mind, to obviously get promoted, but Dundalk's the test in front of us. Like I said, every week we focus on a different team, but Dundalk is us tomorrow, and I hear good things about them. I've never played them. I don't know what they're like. Obviously, we've done some film on them, but I don't know what they're like, to be honest. So I'm just looking forward to the next challenge ahead. I don't see why Treaty can't contend. We don't fear anybody, and we're gonna do our best to be that spot so we can contest next year.
Right, we got a couple of questions here in the chat box. So the first I'm going to share. It's coming from John Brennan, and he's asking if Lee David is up there, one of the best players we have ever played with.
That I've ever played with? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's still young. I played with a lot of great players in the past, and yeah, he definitely has the capabilities to being one of the better players I've played with, definitely.
Okay, one more here. This one, just a second. It's coming from Dave. Who does Connor Wilson see as potential big games coming up for Treaty? How does he see himself fitting in with the team as the season goes on?
Yeah, like I said, any role Tommy needs me in, I'm willing to do. Hope I can fit in and just do my role in whatever position I have to play that given day. But yeah, no, I hope I can fit in and just keep plugging along and keep this good momentum we have going forward.
Okay, one last question from the audience, and that's about your coach, your manager. What's Tommy Barrett like as a manager to work under? He is held in very high regard around the League of Ireland.
Yeah, so far the time I've been here, Tommy's been a great manager. He really wants to bring the best out of us each and every day, whether that's training or whether that's game. He holds each of his players at a high standard, which obviously makes you want to go out for and perform for him. What you're willing to do for someone, they're willing to do for you, kind of deal. So he's definitely setting us up for success. And so far, I would say that we obviously could do a little bit better, but we are going to keep riding this momentum, this wave, and bringing to Dundalk.
Yeah. Now, in terms of your journey, so what inspired you to move to Treaty United, and how was the transition, say, on the pitch and off the pitch?
Yeah. So obviously, I came back from the Oceania countries over here. I just thought I'd get a little taste of playing in Europe. That's always been the goal and the dream of mine. And Treaty was an option to come over to, and had a good preseason over here, and yeah, it's been a very easy, I would say, successful move in, if you will, where it's just been the boys on the team have been great. The coaching staff has been great, making everyone feel comfortable here. So it's been kind of a stress-free, and just, yeah, it's been good.
Talking of your skills and ability, so you've played in various attacking roles. How do you describe your style of play, and what can you bring to the team?
Yeah. Well, last year I was more so of an attacker, and then this year I'm a little bit more of a holder. So, like I said previously, whatever a coach needs me to do, whether that's play striker or hold for them, I'm there for it. I'm going to do my best each and every day. But yeah, I would say I bring a calmness on the ball, but also lots of energy off the ball. I do like to press, try to win the ball back as soon as possible, and then when we do have it, retain possession.
I'm conscious you already compared the previous leagues where you were playing to the Irish, but what was your biggest adjustment?
I would say probably it's a lot more transitional, a lot less time on the ball. It's very, very I don't want to say aggressive. It's not aggressive. That's not the right word, but it's very transitional. It's back and forth more so than any other league I've played in.
Okay, we'll have a comment here. How long is Lee J out for?
To be honest, I don't know. I'm hoping he's back as soon as possible.
Right. Now, one question, which is not exactly about football, but why not? So, if you weren't a footballer, what do you think you'll be doing?
That's a great question. Well, I grew up in Canada, so I would hope I would be some sort of athlete. So I grew up playing ice hockey, so that would probably be where I'd want to be.
Yeah, very good, very good. I don't know if people have more questions, John or Cornell, or maybe the audience. There's one more that's coming. Lot of engagement tonight, which is great. It's coming from John. Was it much of a help having Joe and Ben Lee joining Treaty at the same time as you?
Yeah, so obviously having some of your own nationality over is definitely is help. It makes you feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit of home with you. But yeah, no, those two has been great because I room with them, so it makes it that much easier.
Yeah, 100%. So I think that's it from our end. But if you want to add something yourself, some message to the fans, we're happy to listen.
Awesome. I just want to say thank you for having me on, guys, and everybody that asked questions. It's been great. I appreciate it very much.
No, it's our pleasure. So thanks very much, Corner. All the best. And
awesome.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy your time here in
awesome.
Ireland.
Good luck with everything. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Bye.
Awesome. Bye-bye.
Right. So we go now to our preview. I'm just put the first game on the screen. Waterford Bohemians, Cornell. In which team would you put your money?
I think if I was a betting man and I had to put my money on out of these two teams, I would have to say Waterford again, because they have just been on a very good, decent roll this season. They've shown their fantastic quality as a team, and their work rate and their winning mentality is just something that maybe everybody needs to watch, really, and a team that is not to be underestimated. So I think obviously Bohemians will go into this game believing that they can go on and get back to winning ways, but Waterford as the underdog side will look at this game and think that they can get another win and start carrying on that winnable run.
What about you, John?
Yeah, so I kind of had a notion there to have a bit of a rogue prediction and go for the underdog, even though really it shouldn't, Waterford should be the underdog here, but they're not. But then again, I remember I did that for Connor's team, Treaty a few weeks ago, and it fell flat in my face. So no, I'm going to agree with Cardinal. I think it's Waterford are look, I can't see Waterford continue holding up a title charge or anything, but both are just so unbelievably weak now at the moment that I think any team in the league could probably beat them, especially the team that are currently top of the league. So I think I'll go for like a 2-0 Waterford win, to be honest.
Yeah. Let's move now up to the north. Derry, Galway. I think Derry has to win. It's gonna be tough, but they are under a lot of pressure. John.
Yeah, they're under a lot of pressure. You're absolutely right. But we have to remember how strong Galway have been this season. I mean, to get a draw against Shells and beat, Pats is very impressive. So, but that being said, look, Derry are at home. They've got home advantage, and the brand new is no place to be sniffed at. To be honest, I could see it being a low scoring game. With how Galway are, they've been scoring goals a lot this season actually, but Galway are a very defensive side. I'm going to say it'll be a 0-0 draw, just because it's so hard to call. But I do think you're right, Vitor. I think Derry are going to be under a lot of pressure to actually get a win, being at home and stuff.
Who is the favorite, Cardinal? Why is that a favorite?
I think Derry will look at this game as to be favourites to win this game. Obviously, they want to get back to winning ways after losing through a midweek and really show that they are the talented team that obviously want to be in and around the League of Ireland challenging for the title. But if Derry lose this game again against a Galway team that are particularly on fire at this present time, then I think questions are going to be asked of T and Lynch and Derry. But I think let's not really bring them down too much. Honestly, I think Derry City will go into this as favourites to beat Galway United, but Galway United will put up one hell of a game against them, and it's but for me, I'm definitely going with a Derry City win.
Let's move now to Cork City, Sligo, Cornell, because Sligo, they are at the moment with 0 points, but they didn't embarrass themselves against Pat. And they have 3 points, actually. But they didn't embarrass themselves when they lost against Pat. So there might be a threat in Turner's Cross.
Yeah, I think Sligo Rovers will give everything, and they'll give effort and determination, and they'll be going into Cork City with with so much confidence and believing that they can go on and cause an upset to Cork. But Cork City have shown already the quality that they are as a team. When you've got Rory Keating, when you've got Sean Maguire as 2 key players that can cause a lot of problems to defenses and hurt defenses, then it's really very difficult to put it past them. And you've got Greg Bolger, who's just another level since signing for Cork City. So I think Sligo Rovers obviously will be the ones to that will really give everything that they have, but I think Cork City will be will be too strong for them, and I can definitely see Cork City winning this one.
Are you optimistic for the game, John? Because I'm going to be very honest. When it comes to the attack, I can always predict a positive outcome, but the defense doesn't inspire me much confidence.
To be quite honest, I'm actually very worried about the game. And I wish I had Cardinal's optimism there, and fair play to Cardinal, but I am actually quite worried about the game because it looks like Bolger is going to be out. There's a red card there for in defence, and Maguire is probably out. So that is 3 massive losses. Freddie Anderson is his name. Sorry, that's terrible for me. But yeah, they are 3 huge losses. And Sligo look very strong at the moment. We've talked to death about Jake Doyle Hayes, etc. And Will Fitzgerald and Keane Kavanagh and John Mahon. So I I'm not that confident. I'm actually a bit worried with the game. But if we had a fully fit squad, I would be confident. I think we can honestly take anyone out in this league with a fully fit squad nearly. But it is, I would have some cause for concern with the amount of injuries we have. And this is the problem with the squad. It was very threadbare from the start of the season. Like, I was calling in the club to bring in Liam Burt there a few weeks ago, and it was announced he was in a free agent. And he still is a free agent, so we still could, who knows. But we just, I still think we unfortunately are short maybe one or two bodies for squad depth if we want to really challenge. But I do think our starting 11 is very good. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go for 1-1. And I would be honestly quite happy with that because Sligo are looking dangerous. And, we're looking vulnerable in some areas. So, yeah, I hate to be so negative, but I am a little worried with this game. But look, let's hope I'm wrong because usually my predictions are wrong, to be honest. So,
yeah, it seems Dave is also nervous with the game, so it's not just you. There are other friends who are a bit nervous, and the reason is the same. Just having struggle here to find the next game. But I have here Shelbourne Drogheda. John, anything on that one?
This is going to be a very interesting one because Shells have had a tremendously good start to the season. I suppose at Drogheda, both have had a great start, but Drogheda have had a surprisingly good start. I suppose Shells with the home advantage is going to be a big thing. Like Talcott Park feels like a bit of a fortress at the moment. So I do see Shells edging a win, but really don't discount Drogheda because they have been excellent this season so far.
Cornell, can Drogheda upset the Shells, or they won't have any chance?
I think anything is possible for Drogheda. They've been in very good, decent form, picking up their first win, and they'll be very confident going into this game against Shelbourne and causing a very big upset. But with the likes of Boyd and Maid Odebenko, it is very, very difficult to keep them down, and I think they'll be looking to get their score names on the sheet, on the goal scoring sheet. They'll be looking. I mean, look, listen, Shelbourne have been the best team this first half of the season, and they've looked the team that nobody doesn't want to be playing this season. But don't underestimate Drogheda at all. They are the underdogs. They will go into this game believing that they can cause a loss to give Shelbourne a loss. But as I say, I think it's going to be a very, very close game between both teams. But I have a feeling either a draw, possibly. But I think obviously Shelbourne is going to win this game.
And the last one, Shamrock, St. Patrick's. To me, that's unpredictable, to be honest. Like, Shamrock cannot afford not to win. But maybe that will be the scenario tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised. But they cannot afford. They're under a lot of pressure. I think they are in a similar situation as Derry at this point, Cornell.
Shamrock Rovers, they have been in not so great form this season, defensively or going forward. If the reliance right now is on either Graham Burke or Aaron McEniff to really help them out, or Dylan Watts, one of the best passers in their team. Shamrock Rovers have to go into this game with full belief. Best player on the planet right now for their team right now is Matt Healy right now. Shamrock Rovers haven't been in no fantastic form, and it is very, very worrying for Shamrock Rovers fans that are going to be going into this game thinking that St. Patrick's, you're seeing St. Patrick's, you're seeing Aidan McKinnon scoring goals for fun. You're seeing Zebedee score goals. You're seeing Jake Mullaney put assists in for the likes of McKinnon and Zebedee and Mason Melia, who's going to get that massive move to Tottenham next year in 26. So it is very, very difficult to see. But you look at Shamrock Rovers' team right now, and you think, does Stephen Bradley play? Does he play his best 11 against St. Patrick's? Does he play his best starting 11 or not? Because you're looking at it's Stephen Kenny versus Stephen Bradley to see who is the very best of managers. Is it Stephen Kenny? Is it Stephen Bradley? So I think it's going to be a very, very intense game. It's going to be a very close game. But I can just see St. Patrick's Athletic edging this game because of the performances of Aidan McKinnon, the performances of Zach Zebedee, the performances of Jake Mulaney. Obviously, Romal Palmer is one of them. You've got, Barry Bagley, who's also another one as well. Yeah, fingers crossed Jamie Lennon comes back very soon from his injury. And their back line as well, Redmond and so on, and Breslin on fire. But, look, Shamrock Rovers are utter shambles right now, and they're in serious problems. And if they don't start to win their games and they don't start to really bring in the players that Shamrock Rovers fans really expect for them to do, then it's going to be serious problems for Shamrock Rovers.
So that's a Dublin derby. John, how do you see it from your angle?
So correct me if I'm wrong, but this is Shamrock Rovers' first home game of the season after obviously that travesty of what happened for the Cork City game. So we can't discount that. I mean, Tala is a great stadium. So the home advantage is going to play a big role here, I think, for Rovers, or maybe it will put them under more pressure, who knows. At the end of the day, the quality at the moment is chalk and cheese. Like Pats are looking really, Resurgence are looking really good, and Rovers are looking really poor. But things can change like that in the League of Ireland, and I can't see Rovers staying in such a poor position that they are now. However, we are speaking with the present right now. I'm sure Rovers will get a striker in over the summer, and that will really improve them. But at the moment, we're dealing with the contemporary realities of Michael Noonan or Aaron Green or Gaffney. So I do think, I think it'll actually be a close game with home advantage and all that, and Rovers will surely turn up. But I can see Pats coming away back to Inchicore with all 3 points, to be quite honest.
Yeah, so that's what we have for this weekend. A lot of excitement. So thanks very much for the insights, lads. I think there was a lot to be said. A good 90 minutes here. We need a lot of stamina to go through all of this. And there is more to come next Thursday. So I count on you, Cornell. I know your words are always inspiring, your energy. So it's always a pleasure to have you here. And John, whenever you want to return, the door is open. So
thanks. Remind me to eat before I go on the next podcast, because I'm absolutely starving. But thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
No problem. Okay, guys. Have a good one. Take care.
God bless.
Take care.
God bless. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.